Hi, I'm Belinda Carley, the Director of the Institute of Personal Care Science, and I get a lot of questions about why do we need the chemicals we use in cosmetics today, or why don't we go back to our more traditional ways. So what I wanted to do in this video was show you how they used to make a cold cream. And we're talking right back historical use during the modern early era, Elizabethan days, right up until about the 1940s, when we radically changed the types of ingredients we used and we became more aware of the penetration of the ingredients that we put on our skin. What this means for you today is that you have far more elegant and sophisticated products to use, and the safety profile of your products now are second to none, regardless of what you read on the internet. So let me take you on a bit of a historical journey and show you how they used to make these cold creams, and I've even got a formula for you. And if you've got any doubt about how great the materials we have today compared to what used to be used in these more natural or traditional offerings, please make a sample for yourself and try it. And I'm sure you'll agree you'll be glad of the modern advances and the ingredients we now have to use today. Now, this is the product we're going to be making here. Now, I do want to point out this formula does not have any preservative in it. The reason I've done that is because they didn't have preservatives. So if you do make this formula, please store it in the fridge after it's been made and use it within 2 to 3 days maximum. Now, in this formula also, I am using sodium bicarbonate instead of what they used to use. They used to use borax or sodium borate. But this is now a prohibited or banned substance because of its suspected safety issues. So to be safe, the regulators have banned the use of this ingredient in cosmetics, but that is how they would have made it. And just so that you can see how similar the products are, whether I'm using the allowed sodium bicarbonate or the prohibited sodium borate, these are the two emulsions that form from using these materials. And as you can see, the cream using the sodium borate is very, very similar to the one I'm going to be showing you today using this sodium bicarbonate. Now, it is a traditional beeswax sodium bicarbonate emulsion. It is a water in oil emulsion. As I've mentioned, it is not preserved. So if you did want to keep your product longer, please use a preservative that is going to be suitable for the higher pH of this product. A preservative that will accommodate up to a pH of 7.5 over a prolonged shelf life. But again, to keep with the traditional theme, I'm not using a preservative because they didn't have preservatives to use back in the early modern era. So while it feels really nicely emollient, it definitely does feel more greasy than the type of products we have today. But let me show you how to put it together. Now, I have here some water and some rose water. They used rose water quite a lot, or other hydrosols, to put a scent into their water phase. They also did use essential oils, but in this formula I'm using the rose water because that was quite a common ingredient to use in more luxurious creams. To this, I'm just adding the sodium bicarbonate, and I'm just going to give that a little stir. Now, over here I have some almond oil. And they would have used plant oils like this, almond oil. They did also use a lot of olive oil. They didn't have as many choices of oils or emollients as we do today, so they would have used a plant oil that they could readily access for their area. To this, I'm adding some beeswax. Now, it's important to know I'm using some refined beeswax pellets here. They didn't have a sophisticated ingredient like this at the time, so they would have used an unrefined beeswax. So the actual product would look slightly more yellow that they would produce, because I am using some refined beeswax pellets, which they just didn't have access to this material at the time. And just to keep it interesting, I'm using some lanolin. They did have access to lanolin, and it is very biomimetic with the skin. So I am using this in this formula as well as an example of something they may add to provide some extra moisture benefits. Now, I'm just going to heat these phases and then add the water phase slowly to my oil phase, and you'll see I form my emulsion. Now on the day you make it, it won't have formed into its final viscosity. By the next day, it will become a lot more viscous. Now when you make this product, if you have a feel of it, not only are the sensory attributes nothing like we can achieve today, the other thing that's really important to remember about this type of formula is it's not very stable. Besides the no preservative issue, there's nothing else in this formula to help stabilize this product over a prolonged shelf life of 2 to 3 years. Certainly nothing like the very advanced water and oil emulsifiers and even oil compatible rheology modifiers that we can use today to make sure we have beautifully pleasant feeling water and oil emulsions with fantastic 2 to 3 year shelf lives. So this is why we use some of the materials we use today, because they're far advanced and far safer than what they used in the past. I hope you've enjoyed this little trek down history lane. Please give the video a thumbs up. Please leave any questions or comments below and make sure you subscribe to receive notifications about all our videos. Happy formulating!